So what is up, Africana fam? It's your girl Young Africana back at it again with another video. And in today's video, I am going to be showing y'all step by step on how to achieve a flawless everyday look for my lovely makeup beginners. This video is extremely beginner friendly. I am going into the nitty-gritty details on how to do your makeup. This is a one-stop shop video, so go ahead and get your popcorn ready because you're going to learn everything on how to do a flawless makeup look.
Right now we are starting off with a completely fresh and moisturized face. I like to go into my Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Powder in the color Cinnamon Bun alongside with a powder puff. And I'm going to go ahead and just blot my eyebrows to be dry and clear of any oils. And I like to go into a spoolie and comb out my eyebrow hairs. You want to comb in the direction that your hair grows in. And you just want to make sure that it is nice and sculpted before we go into drawing our eyebrows. Now to draw my eyebrows, I do like to go into my Maybelline Build-A-Brow Brow Pen and Gel. This is in the color medium brown. And I am going to go ahead and draw some hair-like strokes in the places of my eyebrows that are the most sparse / where you can see skin at. And overall, I'm just building a nice structure and shape into my eyebrows before I go ahead and carve them out and clean them up with my concealer. Now in the Build-A-Brow pen, on the other side is the gel, and I'm going to use that just to set my eyebrows into place, just so it could freeze my eyebrows into place for the rest of the day. And I am going to use the spoolie just to comb it in the direction of how my hair grows. Now on to cover my eyebrows, the concealer that I will be using is my Hourglass Cosmetics concealer, and this is in the color Velvet. And I'm using my Morphe E32 brush just to carve out my eyebrows. I like to start under my eyebrows first and then on top. You want to make sure that the concealer that you are using is about a shade or two lighter than your actual skin tone. And the brush that you're using is a flat rounded brush. This is how I achieve a nice sharp brow and clean up my brows so effortlessly. And I like to coat the brush on both sides of the concealer just so I could switch and turn interchangeably when I'm blending it out. And I like to drag the concealer upwards into my skin so I could blend it. And I am using my Morphe 173 brush just to blend out the concealer. And this is how my eyebrows look once they're cleaned up. Now let's get into complexion. We are going to go ahead and prep and prime my skin using my Milk Hydro Grip primer, and I'm going to apply that all over my face. Because of the tacky consistency of this primer, this allows your foundation to stick onto your face for the entire day, and I just love using this for my combination skin. Now as you guys can see, I do have some pores on my cheeks, so I like to go into my Smashbox Photo Finish Blurring Primer, and this serves as like a silicone base just to fill in any holes or fine lines that I do have on my skin. And to really mattify my makeup, I do like to go in with a powder puff and my Huda Beauty loose powder in the color Cinnamon Bun. And I'm just going to go ahead and press that into my skin, especially in my pores and fine lines. Now here is a rule of thumb when it comes to any of your complexion brushes. You want to make sure that it's dense enough where it is stiff, but also soft enough where it still bounces on your skin. So I am going into my foundation. This is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear Foundation in the color 555. My foundations are a matte / satin finish that I do like to use, and I like to go into my Rare Beauty foundation in the color 530N just to mix it up and get my perfect shade. And again, you want to make sure that your brush is nice and bouncy where it bounces onto your skin but still dense enough so it doesn't cause any streaks on your face. And I am going in patting motions with my Real Techniques Instapot brush for the bigger parts of my face. And when it comes to the smaller parts of my face, I am going to go into my Morphe E8 brush, and this is like a smaller version of a foundation brush just so I could tackle the smaller areas of my face. But now on to highlights and contour. I like to go into my Hourglass Cosmetics concealer, and this is in the color Velvet. What I am doing, it helps create dimension into your face, so I am tackling the areas that the sun / light hit my face the most, which is my chin, my upper lip, my nose, as well as my forehead. Now rule of thumb when it comes to the forehead, I do like to do a small crescent type of shape on my forehead, and the bigger the crescent, the bigger your forehead will appear, because you are highlighting and not shadowing your face. So that's just a rule of thumb. And I like to save my under eyes for last. I do the inner corner and the outer corner just so that I have enough product without putting too much product onto my face. And now when it comes to contour, I am going into my Milk Makeup contour stick, and this is in the color Spaced. And I like to go into a flat shader brush and use that to apply that into the crevices of my nose contour. And I like to place my nose contour right next to my highlight just so that we can create that dimension. And I am going to use my Urban Decay all-nighter spray just to kind of set my face and to also help the concealer be movable again. And I like to blend out the edges of my concealer first before I go ahead and blend them out completely. And I'm using my Ulta Beauty foundation precision brush just to go ahead and blend out my highlight. Again, I saved my under eyes for last. While blending out my under eye concealer, I like to keep my concealer pretty much where I left it at. I don't like to drag it all the way down because then it'll create a longer face, and I want my face to look more uplifted. So I blend out my concealer in the placement I put it at. And to really blend out those edges of my concealer, I go back into my foundation brush just so that there are no harsh lines. Now when it comes to my nose contour shadow, I do like to go into my Morphe M506 brush and blend out the shadow part of my contour. And then when it comes to the highlight, I do like to go into my Morphe M173 brush just to blend out my highlight. And again, I just try my best to make sure that I keep the integrity of the shape that I created. I don't like to drag down or drag out my contour or my highlight to be bigger than what it was. I try my best to blend it out in the same area that I drew it in, just so we could keep the integrity of the shape. But now on to extreme highlighting, y'all. I do like an extra highlighted look, and how to achieve that, I use my e.l.f. Camo concealer in the color Tan in my inner corners and the Hourglass concealer that we used in my face earlier on the outer of that brighter concealer. And I like to let that sit for about 2 minutes before I blend it out. And this time when I blend it out, I am going in with my powder puff to blend it out just to really get that opaque look. And again, I start out with the darker color first before I blend into the lighter color. You just want to make sure that when you're blending it out, you're keeping it in the same exact place where you place the concealer at and not drag it down. And for extra blending, I'm going to go into my M173 brush just to blend out the edges of that concealer so it doesn't look extremely harsh on my face. Now to set my face, I am going to go into my powder puff, and I am going to use my Huda Beauty Easy Bake loose powder in the color Cinnamon Bun just to go ahead and place that on my highlighted areas. You want to make sure that you're always setting your liquids with a powder. And I go in with a little bit of product because a little bit of product goes a long way. And you just want to make sure that it is completely blended into your skin and really set into your skin. This is the first part of the baking process. You just want to make sure that everything is nice and set before we go heavier into the bake. And again, I am just going to go ahead and use that powder in every area that I applied the lighter concealer at. Now onto contour, I am going into my Morphe 8R contour / bronzing palette, and I'm going to be using the darkest shade in there to contour. And for my cheekbone area, I did go ahead and use my Morphe E4 brush, which is an angled soft brush. And for my nose contour, I do like to go into my Morphe E62 brush, which is a soft, fluffy, angled buffer brush. And I'm just going to go ahead and set my liquid contour with the powder. Now to really chisel out my nose, I am going to go ahead and apply a second round of the Huda Beauty Easy Bake loose powder in the color Cinnamon Bun. And I'm just using the edges of my powder puff just to really kind of create that shape and that chiseledness against the nose. Now onto blush, I do like to use my Benefit Cosmetics blush in the color Java, and this is like a nice red orange type of vibe, and I apply that on top of my cheek contour. Now going back into the Milk Makeup contour stick, I am going to apply that as a base for my eyeshadow because I am doing a brown eyeshadow look. And to apply it on my eyelids, I am going into my Morphe M124 brush just to apply it, and then to blend it out just so that it is nice and matte on my eyes. I do like to go into my Morphe M456 brush just to blend out that base before I go into eyeshadow. Now for the eyeshadow, I do like to go into my Warrior 2 palette from Juvia's Place, and I'm using the color Kafuru, and I like to go into my Morphe M433 brush just to place that onto my eyelids. And I like to bring in the brown into the brow bone. And applying eyeshadow, you just want to make sure that you're using patting motions just so that the color payoff is a lot more apparent and that the eyeshadow doesn't look patchy. Now onto my transition color, because we do want to make sure that our eyeshadow is nice and blended out. I go into my Jaclyn Hill palette from Morphe, and I go into the color G Money. Now for eyeliner, I am going into my Sephora eyeliner. This is a liquid matte eyeliner in the color black. And I am just going to go ahead and just line my lash line. I am not doing a wing, so this will be considered as a baby wing. So I am just going to go ahead and just line my entire lash line just so it could be apparent that I do have some form of liner. Now to line my waterline, I am going into my Italia Deluxe Makeup Liner. This is in the color black, and I'm just going to go ahead and line my waterline. And I like to just drag down my eyelid from below and just go ahead and line my eyes. That's how I do without crying. Now to really get a nice and flawless finish for the entire face and to wipe off the excess powder off of your face, I do like to go into a finishing powder, and this is my L'Oreal 24-Hour Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation Powder, and this is in the color 375, and I'm going into my Morphe E41 brush. It's a big brush that I just use to remove the excess powder as well as give myself a nice fresh finish. Now onto eyelashes. I do like to prime my lower lashes first, and I'm using my Morphe Blue primer first before I go into my actual mascara, and this just helps my lower lashes to look longer and thicker. And the mascara I'm using is my Smashbox Superfan mascara, and as you guys can see, my lower lashes look super long. Now to really elevate this look, you could skip this part, but I do like doing this part just to really elevate my soft glam. I am going to go into my P. Louise base in the color Rumor 1, and I am using this bullet brush from Morphe. This is the Morphe M321 brush, and I'm just using a little bit of that eyeshadow base, and I'm applying it in the inner corners. This is just going to serve as our base, and we're going to go into an eyeshadow just to set that base. And y'all, when I tell you, when I do this, it's so fire. Like, it just looks so good. So now I'm going into my NYX Ultimate palette, and I'm using this tan color and alongside with my powder puff, and I use the edge of my powder puff to apply the eyeshadow. Just a fun fact, when you do use your powder puff for your eyeshadow, it just comes out so evenly and so smooth. And now I'm just going in with a small buffer brush that was not used just to blend out the edges of that, and that is how we get that. Now I'm gonna go into my Sephora liquid liner again, and I am just creating a cat wing. So I like to start at the bottom lower lash line and then the top, and I just join them together doing a triangle. And that is how I pretty much do my cat inner eye. This is honestly my signature. I've been doing this for years. I originally got it from Aaliyah J, so I can't take credit completely, but I have been doing this for years alongside with her. And I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up my liner and do the same thing on the other eye. And it's just really simple. You're just creating a triangle from the top and bottom and then just joining them together. Now it is lash time. I do have a 5D, I think double D curl, and this is in the style CL13. But what I like to do is I like to go into my dual lash glue with the green writing, and I like to apply the glue on my lashes first and then on my lash line second. As you guys can see, I'm just holding my lashes just so that the glue doesn't get onto my actual lashes, and if it does, I just go into my mascara just to comb out and coat the glue and remove it from my eyelashes. And you want to make sure that you wait until your glue dries pretty clear before you apply it. And I'm going in with the tweezers and using the tweezers in the middle part of the lashes. And I like to apply my lashes in the middle first, right next to the lash line, the inner corners of my eyes second, and then the outer corner of my lashes third. And that is just the order that I put my lashes on. I feel like this is probably the most effective. And again, you just want to make sure that it is really like right on top of your lash line. And as you guys can see, this fits my actual lashes perfectly, and it just gives my eyes an elevated look compared to regular 25mm lashes or just regular lashes. Because of the curl pattern, it does curl upward, so it doesn't give my outer lashes a drapey type of look. And I did get these lashes from the beauty supply store. Now, to make sure that my lashes are meshed together with my real lashes, I do like to go in with my 2 fingers and just clamp them together, making sure that it is nice and blended. And that is how I pretty much blend my lashes. Now let's go on to the lip combo. I do like to go into my Italia Deluxe makeup liner in the color black, and I slightly overline my actual lip line. So you're gonna see the liner just a bit above my actual natural lip line. I do like to do that just because I like a more plumper lip. And to top that, I do go into my Fenty Beauty matte liquid lipstick in the color Breadwinner, and this is like a nice brown, and I top that right on top of the black just so I can get a really deep dark brown. And also too, this lasts throughout the entire day when I use a liquid lipstick comparable to just a regular pencil. So now on to our gloss. I am going into my NYX Butter Gloss. This is in the color Tiramisu, and I feel like this is the perfect pinky nude for your nude lip combo. And to top it off, I am going into my Nika K lip gloss in the color Clear, and this you could get from the beauty supply store. Now, to make sure that my lips don't, do that little choppy thing, I do use my middle finger just to remove some of the excess product. But now on to setting my face. I am using my Urban Decay All Nighter Spray first, and I'm going to pat that in with my foundation brush, and I'm going to let that dry down completely before I go into my One Size finishing spray. So remember, this is a setting spray. The setting spray does not actually set your face. It just, helps with, everything else, but it doesn't actually set your face into place. The finishing spray does. So I am going to go into my One Size finishing spray and then press that into my skin. And then to really finish this off, I am going into my Benai Pretty Pink powder. And y'all, when I tell you, this literally finishes off my look and takes the cake. As y'all can see, I do have pores on my cheeks, but not only does this highlight my under eye, but it makes my entire face look airbrush. And right now you're going to see the complete difference from one side to the other. Do y'all see that? I look completely airbrushed. And when I started doing this, this completely changed the game for me, y'all. Like, and my makeup lasts all day. Now, to bring some color back into my life, I am going to go back into Java and just reapply my blush, and just to blend out the highlighted powder that I put underneath my eyes. Now onto nose contour. I am going to go into my Benefit Cosmetics highlighter in the color Cookie, and I am just using a small liner brush just to apply that on the button of my nose and slightly on the bridge of my nose. And I'm going to go back into my brow liner just to reapply and clean up my brows. And this is just what really cleans up my entire look and make my look super crisp and airbrushed.
And now we are at the end of this video. If you have reached the end, go ahead and comment a lipstick emoji for your girl. I want to thank you all for watching till the end and giving me that engagement. And to continue the engagement, go ahead and comment down some lipstick emojis, okay? Comment down some lipstick emojis and also like this video if you found it very informative. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and comment down below some makeup looks you do want to see in the future. But until next time, I'll catch y'all later.